Okay, can you tell me your name and your date of birth?
I'm Janet Mary Hayling. I was born on the 9th of March 1945.
Thank you. And can you tell me a little bit about where you were born and the first few years of you growing up, where you were living?
I was actually born in my auntie's house, and it was just before the end of the war. And my auntie delivered me, because obviously the hospital was full of soldiers and whatever. And we stayed there as far as I can remember. Mum said that we was there for 3 or 4 days, and she went back home to Aston there with me. And I didn't know until about 5 years later that I had a sister who died. And apparently my older sister was born in 1939, and my sister what died was born in 1942. And my grandmother used to look after her while Mum went to work. And I forgot. And anyway, she had a stroke, my granny, and she could only use one arm. Well, my sister was playing around. She's only 2 years old. And my granny just filled a teapot up on the table, and she pulled a cloth and pulled it over. And she died of the scalds, like, you know. So, yeah, and I didn't know that till later on in life. But I was the third one. And I had 2 more sisters after that, one named Carol, one named Linda. I get on with the younger 2, but I never got on with the older one. She was so bossy, it was unbelievable. Fighting all the while. And we used to fight on the bed upstairs, and we broke it the one day. And we got this old stool and wedged it under the bed until my mum come to clean it, and by God, did she give us a wallop. But yeah, we had quite a good upbringing, really. You know, we didn't have much, you know, like everybody else was all in the same boat. But yeah, my dad was a milkman, and my mum used to work part-time as a Mrs. Mop in town for solicitors. And that's how it went on, really. And then I was at school, and my sister used to take me down to school, and there used to be this old lady, and my sister used to tell me she was a witch. And I used to be terrified, and this woman used to be waiting on the step waiting for us to pass. And she used to say, "Come and light me fire for me," and I'd be quaking in my boots. I was so frightened. I was all dressed in black, you know, long skirt, old, like hobnail boots she had on. I could never forget her. But I used to be frightened to death of her. And when my sister moved to the other school, because she's 6 years older than me, I used to do cross the road so I didn't have to pass her house. She dragged me in. Yeah, she was quite frightening, really, she was. But yeah. And we used to get in trouble off and on, because I used to have a friend who used to live in Caper Street, and it was just round the corner. And one day we was getting toward bonfire night, and we hadn't got a guy, so we painted a brother up, we blacked a brother up and took him in a push because he had about 4 or 5. And when we got back, did we get a telling off? That was one scrape I got into. And my dad was always getting me out of trouble with my mum. I was always getting up to something, and we used to play knock door run with all the other kids, and that 9 times 10 it was always me what got caught because I was the littlest. And then we'd go roller skating around the school playground, and the caretaker used to come out and he'd be telling us off, and you used to forget they knew your mum and dad, so they'd tell them. That was another wallop I got. But yeah, and my mum always had a pot under the bed of a night upstairs, and the one day she come down and she slipped with it, and it went all over, and all I could do was laugh. I had another one for laughing outside. And as I went to Burlington Street School in secondary modern, and I ended up as head post girl there before I left. And but I knew Stan before that because I used to help my dad with a milk round. And I started doing that when I was 11. And I used to go every morning with him. And on the way to school, I'd drop off, like, you know, go to school. And then I'd bring Mum shopping back because she could give me a list, like, you know, to collect whatever she'd wanted. And as I say, I'm at a newsstand from when I was about 11, and we sort of liked each other a lot, and we went out a few times, 12, 13, 14, different things, only as friends, and that's where it started off. We've been married 48 years now, so... yeah, but,
can I just take... You said you didn't live in the back-to-backs and you grew up in quite a big house. Could you just tell me a little bit about the house you grew up in?
Yeah, it was quite a big house. It had a front room, a back room and a kitchen, 2 bedrooms and an attic. And we used to have lodgers, because being after the war, now a lot of people didn't have anywhere to live and money was scarce anyway. And Mum had a couple move in, and I think it was Molly and Joe, and they were Irish. And we all always knew them as Auntie Molly and Uncle Joe. Everybody was uncles and aunts in them days. And they stayed with us for about 4 or 5 years. And then they left. And then we had another Irishman called Tommy Cashman. And he was ever so good. He was really, really good with the kids. And he'd got part of his stuff missing. And I can't remember what he used to say about it, But he was really funny. He was a comical man. He used to tell us all sorts of tall stories, and we used to believe them. And he only worked over the road. And Mum used to do him breakfast and do his tea for him, and he stayed a few years. And obviously, as we got older, Mum wanted the room. And my sister moved to the attic when he left. And there was 3 of us in the 1 bedroom. Mum and Dad in the other one. But yeah, it's quite a big house. All we had was a backyard and outside toilet, but at least we didn't have to share. And I think we had a blackcurrant tree in the garden. That was the only bit of garden we had. But yeah, I had quite a good life, compared to the others in the back-to-backs, because we lived on the main Newtown Road, and our entry used to come out in Capers Street. And all the others were like back-to-backs, but we used to have a laugh of a Saturday night, because the back was an entry, and the house on the main road there, every Saturday night he'd have a drink, and they used to have a row and a fight out the back, and me and my sister used to be waiting for it every Saturday night. That was our entertainment on a Saturday night. Mr. and Mrs. Moss having a puncher. And he used to run into the toilet, and she'd have the mop over the door or under the door trying to get at him. It was really hilarious, that one. Yeah, it was pretty good, really. And that's how I used to help Dad with the milk. And I used to go and meet him. I used to have a scooter. I used to ride up and meet him, very close to my dad. I was absolutely gutted when he died. I lost my best friend that day. But yeah, other than that, you want to know any more?
A little bit about your primary school, first school, if you can remember anything.
Well, I didn't really want to go to school. I used to be in Brearley Street Nursery to start with, because Mum was working, and left there, and then more or less went straight to school. And I was always a bit shy, and I didn't much like school. And this one teacher used to bawl at me because I was a bit of a daydreamer, and a blackboard rubber would come flying out and just skimp your head. But I could knit, but I used to knit very tight. Mum let me to knit. And this one, we had to do a knit on 4 pins one day, make a beret. It was supposed to be for me, but by the time I finished, it wouldn't fit a doll. And she made a right show of me. She was quite disgusting me. But yeah, but the teachers, well, they were horrendous in them days, they didn't stand for nothing. But this one, I think she should have been in a senior school, not an infant school, because you used to be shaking in your boots. When she said, jump, you jump, mate, and that was it. I never had the cane twice for being late, and I don't think I've ever been late for anything since. That cured me. Only twice I had the cane. If you were late more than twice in a week, you had the cane. And one for you go and see the headmaster on a Friday. But yeah, I enjoyed the junior school more so than the infants. Junior school was more interesting. But unfortunately for me, I had the same teacher again when I got there, because it was all the one school, and she'd moved up with us. And oh God, that Mrs. Chandler, I could have cried. I got her again. Oh no, not her again. And I was hopeless at maths. And if you couldn't do it, she used to make you stand on a chair. And she did that until the one day I fainted and fell off the chair. She didn't do it again. She used to make me stand outside the classroom then. But all in all, yeah, it wasn't a bad upbringing. We had second-hand clothes from a second-hand shop, or I used to hand-me-downs from my big sister. Her being bigger than me, and bigger shoes, used to stuff in my cotton wool to make them fit. My feet always looked too big. Yeah, I never got on with her at all. She was a pain in the backside, she really was. She thought I was a slave when she started work. And I didn't mind fetching her things, it was her attitude what done it, you know. So when she pushed me over when I was about 7 and cut my eye out in there, she pushed me and I landed on the stone sink, because we had one of them old orange ones in the kitchen, an old boiler, what used to have to light fire under. And she pushed me and I fell on the sink and ended up having 2 or 3 stitches in my eye. She would only done at the table because she was frightened. And my uncle took me to hospital to have the stitches. But yeah, she's a right pain, she really was. But going great with the other two, still there. Don't see her now, actually. I haven't seen her since my mum died 2 years ago. She was 92 when she died. Yeah. So.
Can you tell me a bit more about when you... I know you had seen Stan from the age of 11, but when you sort of really first started going out or courting?
Oh, I know. Well, I was probably about 14, 15. And it was still at school. But he used to be up at Thomas Street and I was at Burlington Street, and we always used to pass us, as I used to serve his house, go and collect milk bottles and get the milk money every Saturday morning. That was the start of it. And we really got friendly, and used to see each other quite a lot. Well, his mum used to say he used to be watching me through the window and come down the path. But yeah, we had some good time. When he started work, he was working at Norton Motors, and I started work in a factory. I wanted to be an hairdresser, but my sister was going to grammar school, and Mum couldn't afford me to. I'd take this job, what I wanted. I'd got the job and everything, and she said, no, it's not enough money. So I ended up in a factory, but I quite enjoyed factory work. The first place I worked was boring, that was at Sperrins, and I used to make all sorts of gas stuff and water pipes and that, and I really didn't like that, so I left there. I got myself a job which was about 4 doors away from where I lived, and it was an old shop, and they turned it into a little factory. I learnt more then I ever learnt at school. I learnt how to work every machine in the place, and I mean I was only 16 then, and I could work a milling machine, a lathe, a drilling machine, grinder. I could work all them, and I learnt all that just through watching and learning off other people. And I stayed with them up until I got married and had my first son. Am I going too fast for you?
No, not at all. Keep going.
And I'll go back a bit. When Stan was 21, his mum moved from the old back house up into College Road, up in, I suppose it's called King's Standing then. And when he was 21, his mum had a party for him, and dressed him up in women's clothes and her fur coat, and dragged him all up the middle of the central reservation. He'd had a few drinks. And one of his mates must have seen it when he went to work the next day, and he says, there's some claim walking up the central reservation in women's clothes. He hadn't got the nerve to tell him that it was him. I don't think he remembered much about it, to be honest. But yeah, we had some fun. And we used to go to Shelley's dancing. That was a factory opposite where he worked in Aston Brook Street. And that was every Friday night, that was. We used to like it there, because they used to play a record, and it was the canteen, and we used to go dancing there every Friday night. And we used to go to the Orient Picture House, And we used to say he was 18, he was only 16. And getting for the X-films, you know, the horror films. And the side of the Orient was an alleyway, shortcut to his house in Barton's Bank. And we'd be looking over our shoulders, we were so scared after we'd seen the horror film like this. But yeah, they were a good time. And we went away on holiday a couple of times with Mum. And this auntie that they had, she wasn't a real auntie, it was called Aunt Joan. And she could drive, she was the only one who could drive. And she hired this old van, it was, I think it was an old Dormobile. And it was great going, but coming back it was chugging along, and it was cold in here. And the side of it was flapping in the wind, and the side was coming off it. And, well, I can't remember where we went now. I think it was down Wales somewhere. And everywhere we had to walk over the Barmouth Bridge and through a field. And every time we went through this field, she used to fall in a pile of cow dung. And she was a big woman. And I can't tell you what she used to say. She used to swear it. It was just so funny, but she's good as gold, heart of gold she had. And when we first got our flat on Castle Vale, and she moved us in basically in an old van. And we had a 3-legged gas stove, and my Stan's granny's old bed, and bits and pieces what we scraped together. And when I was pregnant with Paul, Stan used to work nights, and he come home the one night, and he said, "I'm going back to work now." I said, "All right," because he was only working somewhere local. And as he was going, my waters broke, and as he went back to his van, I was going, waving to him to come back, and he's waving to, oh my God. I hadn't been there long, only been there about 2 months. So I had to knock a complete stranger up in the flat opposite. I was going to get an ambulance for me. And he was gone for ages. And I thought, God, where is he? And his wife, all I was doing was walking round and round the house. And she says, "Oh, I don't know where he's got to. All the phones had been vandalised, hadn't they? I had to walk all the way down onto the Chester Road. Because we were right at the other end, up by the hangars, where the old hangars used to be, where the planes were kept in the war. And they didn't turn up till about 4 o'clock in the morning. And he didn't get home till 7, so I just left him a note. Gone. I was just crossing, got it. Gone. So I couldn't become friends with them two, because I think they'd only moved in the week before I started to have Paul, so I hadn't really seen him, and I didn't know him from Adam. And I thought, God, they're all right, like, you know, you don't know, yeah. But he was gold, and the pair of them were. And yeah, I had Paul there, and I was still working. I used to work at the GEC then part-time, so I used to take Paul up to my mum's, up in Erdington, and then get buzzed down to Whitton. But I used to work the afternoon shift down there. And they had great laughs down there as well, because I was on the assembly line with all the other girls. So yeah, it was good fun. And the one day, I had a phone call to say I'd got to go home. And one day my mum had to go out, and she couldn't look after Paul, and I left her with a neighbour who called the ambulance, and the little girl had given Paul a peanut and was choking. And really knocked Paul about, like, you know, and that scared me a lot, that did. But fortunately he was alright. Obviously the little girl was only about 2 herself, and he was only just turned 1. And yeah, it was frightening, that was. But yeah, we used to have an old clap tape, you know. We used to take him down the seaside and sleep in the car. And he used to be on the back seat, and we'd fall asleep in front. Find the nearest loos and go and have a wash and brush up. We hadn't got on money. We went away with about £20 one time, and we managed to get an old caravan on Terry Beach for £9. And we used to have to, no toilets then, and we found an old bucket underneath the caravan, so every time we got Paul to have a wee, he'd have one in this old bucket, and none of that, and he was walked to the, because he'd never last that long. He was about 3 at the time. But yeah, and he was right on the beach, and he used to go out and have a look, And as soon as the waves started coming, he used to run back into the cabin and say, the waves are coming closer. And he stuck a peanut up his nose once, and we had to take him to the hospital. I don't know what made him do that. I do not know. No, popcorn. I got some corn for popping. And he stuck one up his nose, and then why he done it? I do not know to this day why he done it. But he did. He ended up at the hospital, and they had to get it down with trees. But unfortunately, they managed it. And when we was moving from Castlevale to Chelmsford Wood, I used to go up to the housing office in Bush House in Birmingham every Monday morning. I used to drop Paul off at my mum's, go and sit there, get an interview with him. I'm having another baby. I want to go to Chelmsford Wood, because nobody seemed to want to come to Chelmsford Wood in them days because I thought it was too far. And I wanted to come up there. And they used to turn me away every week, and the one lady says to me, come back when you had the baby. I said, okay, fair enough. And when I had the car, I went straight from Austin Green Hospital to the housing office. There he is, 2 children. When can I move to Chelmsford Wood? Anyway, a week later, I had an interview, and they come and checked the flat over to see if there was any damage. Unfortunately, there wasn't. And I got the house, and that was in 1971. And I moved up there with Carl in a washing basket to go and clean the place while my mum had Paul. And he was fortnights out when we moved in there. And that was August the 6th we moved in there, 1971.
Can you tell me how you felt about moving to Chelmsford Wood? What was it like?
Well, unfortunately for us, we were one of the last in the block to move in, and everybody had dumped all the rubbish in our garden. It was piled with full of tin, old paint cans, you name it, we had it. And a lot of it is buried in the garden, under the back, well, just by the back of the shed. Yeah, so there's not a lot grows much there, but we buried it deep, and some fella come out because there was no bushes there. And he says, what are you doing? You're going to bury the wife? You're going to be out to bury all these cans. But yeah, they were all young families when we moved in. And the girl who lived opposite me, she says, I remember you. She was in the same hospital as me, and we both had children on the same day. And it's uncanny, that was. She said, I remember you, but I didn't remember her. I don't remember her at all, but she's been there longer than me, you know, so I was the last one to move in there, but I liked it. But I knew the area anyway, because I had to travel from Castlevale to Martha Green Hospital for the checkups, and I just had to get a bus down to the Radleys, sit on a bench outside a pub with about 4 others. We used to call it the pregnant bench, and an ambulance used to pick us up because there's no bus to there, and that's how we used to get there. And they used to drop us back in the same place, and then to get the bus home. But it was a joy from Castlevale. It was not so much fun, it was awkward to get to, because Stan being at work, he couldn't take me, so yeah. And that was that bit. But yeah, I said Paul wouldn't go out in the garden when we first moved in, because he got used to the flat, and he was frightened to go outside on his own, because every time he wanted to play out, I had to take him when we lived in the flat. And he used to be a bit scared of going out in the back garden, because he didn't realise that it was his own place. But yeah, I loved it on Chelmsford Wood. I have no complaints about it. I like living here. People are friendly enough. Never had no bother. Well, not until about 4 years ago when we had a couple of druggies and drugs in. The only 2 councillors in, I'm in the middle of them. One either side. But fortunately they've gone. So that's good. But yeah, I'd say I didn't know Ronnie at the time, but I knew his wife because she done the Jubilee, Queen Silver Jubilee. She used to come up and collect the money, like, but we all put together to have the party. And I can't really remember Ronnie. Nor Robin come to that, but they must have been there because we had the party down opposite their houses, down in where the car park was. But yeah, I say a lot of them now. I think we're the only originals in the block now, our block. And there's only, what, 3 in the other block who's original.
Whereabouts is it you're living?
Roach Close. Yeah. Yeah, I've always loved the house. And when the regen came, I was absolutely gutted when I thought we was going to get rid of our house. I was so really mad with them. But yeah, I've been at quite a few of the meetings, but I haven't been lately. Because you sort of give up with them, because they don't give you what you want anyway, do they? So, yeah. I had the lady around the school last year about the school. And she didn't know what to say. I said, how big is this school going to be? She said, well, we cater for all the kids we've got. I said, what about the other few thousand you're going to have? You'll need the other school for the overspill. No comment on that. Anything else?
Thinking about when you first came to Chelsea again, can you remember things about the schools that the kids went to and maybe the GP surgeries, that kind of thing?
Yeah. Well, the surgery was obviously handy for us because it was all walkable. And the school was even handy still because it's just down the hill. And Paul loved it there. He's got a good reputation. And I can't remember his name there. What was his name? The headmaster was a great man. And he very rarely hit the kids. But he always used to walk around with a slipper and he used to flex it. And I'd never seen him with a cane. I think I never remember him slapping a couple of kids on the backside with a slipper and they'd done something really bad. No, it was a brilliant school. No complaints at all. So, they used to do a lot, and the caretaker there was brilliant, Ernie. Every year he used to organise a bonfire. And I think you just used to pay 50p in, and it was brilliant night. Absolutely brilliant. Fireworks galore, you could get baked potatoes, anything, burgers. He used to organise all that. And that happened for years and years. And unfortunately he died a few years ago. But I don't know who's there now, obviously. But a good school. I don't know much about Simon Digby. I didn't think that was too brilliant. Because, I don't know, they just didn't seem to push him forward, like, you know. But Paul, the oldest, has always been good at drawing. He could draw a car when he was 2 years old, so I encouraged it. I used to draw with him because I used to do a bit of dabbling myself there. And when he left school, I was absolutely gutted because he went into building. I was so gutted. I said, what the hell's the matter with you? You got a talent, use it, make it pay. Anyway, he worked up the airport for a while, tarmacking overnight, the runways and that. Then he got a job surveying, which was all over the country, with living in old caravans and the like. And then he met his Danish girlfriend. He went on a trip to America, and it was called Trek America, and it was in vans, and they travelled across from San Francisco to the Florida Keys, and they went through the Grand Canyon and all places like that. And she was working as an au pair over there. And they met when I was on this trek, and they got together from there. She came over here for 2 years studying English, and she got a degree. And then she went back home to university, and then Paul went over there, and he's been there ever since. And he's a graphic designer now. And he managed to persuade the Danish government to get a course, and this course was £2,000 or £3,000, and obviously he hadn't got the money because they were living in digs. And he took his drawings and his paintings to this commune, what they call, and it's like the housing department, and it's for everything. And he took his drawings there, and they give him the course for nothing. They pay for his course, and he hasn't looked back really. So yeah. And so he's lived in Denmark ever since. We go over quite regular. Grandchildren come in 3 weeks' time. So, spoiled. And it's really funny because my dad could play the piano. Never had a lesson in his life. Paul can play the piano, play the guitar, never had a lesson. And my grandson's the same. He can play piano. He's playing for the school. He's only 9 years old. Playing in front of the whole school in Denmark. So none of them had a lesson. I take after my father. But none of us girls can play a note. And my sister's son, he can play as well. He plays the organ in the church over at Redditch. So yeah, not bad. Backstreet Kid. Yeah. Gonna laugh about it. His mum used to live opposite here. You know where the fence ended in the bungalows? She lived in one of them. And she used to complain bitterly, I think it was before you've gone, that the rubbish used to blow outside the path, and she was forever sweeping up the path. And what she used to do, she used to shovel it all up and put it outside the church door.
I think we know
Dorothy.